So we have the gap, right? And when you're thinking about the gap, you're thinking about the difference between one place and another place. You're thinking about the space between two locations, right? The gap. We think about something like gap insurance. Anybody who's got a car that's too expensive has gap insurance, and gap insurance, ensures that if you owe more on the car than what the car is worth in the event of that car being a total loss, so you have the financial backing to close that gap, right? The gap defined, let me see here, is the unfulfilled space or the interval, right? A break in continuity, right? That's what Webster defines the gap as, an unfulfilled space or interval. But in this context, the gap is the space between where you're currently at in your life and where you're meant to become, like who you're meant to be. It's made up of the excuses, that's in that hole, the fears in that hole, the lack of skills in that hole, all the missed chances, the hesitations in that hole, right? It can be crossed, and that's the problem. People don't realize it can be crossed because when you look down in that valley, it looks like an impending death. I mean, it looks very, very scary. But the problem is, only those willing to make the jump, go all in, grind, are willing to do that. They're the ones who are going to be able to make that success story. The ones to be able to make the gap, make the jump. And so, you know, we all have these gaps, right? Because even if you've recently made some type of success in your life, even if you recently have gotten to a new accomplishment, even if at some point you've achieved something great, like there's another thing, there's a next thing. It's like when people always talk about happiness, and I always explain that happiness is a result. Happiness is not something you achieve. It's not an achievement. It's a result of achievement. And so, for example, if you have a very successful relationship with your spouse and you guys hit a 5 year, 10 year, 20 year anniversary, like that'll make you happy because you've achieved that. You are starting a new business, and you know what? You grinded it out for a year, and finally you hit that stride and you get to the right market, and you market it the right way, and everything works out. And then you are in a position now where you have achieved something great and you're happy, and the happiness wanes, and so you gain happiness through achievement. Maybe it's your kid graduates from high school and or college, and you're just so proud of them. They achieved something, and because they achieved it, you achieved it because you helped them get to that point through parenting, tough love, whatever it may be. Now that makes you happy. And so happiness is a result. It's not something that we seek, right? And so we have to figure out how we can shoot this gap, because when you look at people who are depressed, what's one thing they all have in common, right? One thing they have in common is they aren't really working on anything. Think about it. People who are depressed, they're sitting in their beds. They're hanging out in their rooms. They're hanging out in their they're not working on a goal. They're just wallowing. And so to truly be able to move through this space, we need to be working toward our achievement. And so I have these images up here, and I ask people what they all have in common. And I think that the easy answer is, like a breakthrough, right? We have a volcano, right? And it needs to kind of erupt. We have a snake that sheds its skin. We have a tree. That little plant right there is an oak tree. It's a very, 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 very tall tree, right? We have a turtle coming out of a shell. We have a chrysalis right there from the butterfly. You have to go through growth, adversity. And so we have to live under pressure, because that right there is what's going to help us grow. A lot of people, they try to avoid pressure, but they forget that diamonds were made from pressure, right? And I don't know if you're biblical or not. I don't know if you believe in Jesus, but I will tell you that when Jesus, he fed 5,000 people with a single lunch of bread loaves and fish. And he before he could feed 5,000 people, he had to first break that bread. And a lot of times people, they need to be broken before they can be built up. But people want to avoid this growth period. They want to avoid this frustration. I taught myself how to play piano about 5 years ago. And when I first started playing the piano, It was just absolutely horrendous. I mean, just a terrible, terrible, terrible sight for anybody that was anywhere near me. But most people can't fight through that point. I fought through that point, and it was about 8 hours a day that I'm yapping on this piano every single time I had a chance. And after about 6 months, I was able to play a couple of songs, and after a year, I was a little bit more proficient. And the point is, there's a period of time that is going to be very, very challenging when you do or learn anything. A point of time that's going to bring frustration because what you expect is for an instant result. What you expect is for you to go for it and be the one guy that's able to just crush it, for you to open up your school and be able to just say, hey, look, like I opened up my school and I went ahead and I had 133 people come in, and everyone wants to pay and everyone's coming and everyone's doing this thing, and you're like, well, why isn't it working? And then what happens to most people is that pressure, that challenge, that hardship shuts them off, and then they just move into a new thing. They move into a new thing. The pressure just breaks them. And so, there's a trend analysis. They say that 74% of people agree that life is too hard. That's a funny statistic, okay? They say that 50% of people claim to be happy. So only half of the people that have been polled in this survey claim to be happy. But 100% of people want success. And 92% of people, they start some type of goal, some New Year's resolution, but 92% of people quit on it. So what is the trend here? What we're seeing is that everyone wants to succeed to the point where they make an agreement with themselves, they make a choice, and then they say that it's too hard, and they still pretend to be happy with it. And this brings up a great point that I heard from Myron Golden, which he talks about the difference between choices and decisions. And see, when somebody makes a choice, and this goes back into kind of what we were talking about earlier, Alex, when somebody makes a choice, choices are things that you can say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this choice today. But the problem with the choice is you can choose to do something else tomorrow. A choice means you have options. And so when you go to a course, for example, to learn how to build a 6-figure business as a speaker, and you're going to, let's say that program is free. Well, today you're feeling motivated, and so you're making a choice to start the program, but tomorrow it's really hard and there's homework and there's things that are expected for you to do. And so you're not going to do that. And you decide, I don't want to do it anymore because I have other things to do. I want to go ahead and just sit down and chill instead. Well, that's a choice you make, and choices give you the ability to change your mind. But now imagine if you made a decision, and through that decision, it required an investment. And that investment was either financial or some other major investment. Usually financial is the only thing that people value in this world. Money is the only thing. So I have to take your money for you to be serious about it. So I'm going to take $3,000 from you, and then I'm going to go ahead and you're going to make a decision. I'm going to go ahead and give you this value. But because you paid, now there is no choice. And through that payment, that equals decision. And now you've made a decision, and you have to follow through with the decision. And so the question that I have for a lot of people is, well, what do we do? We recognize that we want success. We recognize that we want more. We recognize that there's more for us in our life. We recognize that we're not happy with ourselves. We're pretending to be happy. We work W-2 jobs. We're at the box factory. Many of us were veterans. Many of us were, flying planes. Many of us were in elite musical programs with the military, whatever it is we were doing. And now all of a sudden, we're just regular freaking people. And we have to ask ourselves, well, what do we do now? And the answer is simple. We stop giving up. When we start something, we just stop giving up on it. Through those 3 simple words, our entire life can change. When we make that decision to do something, we just stop giving up. See, people say that they're tired of starting over. I'm tired of starting over. If you ask anybody in this room, anybody here, you, me, anybody in my household, you ask them, have you heard somebody say the words, I'm tired of starting over? They'll always say yes. But if you're tired of starting over, just stop stopping. And then you'll never have to start over. And it's so simple. But people are unable to recognize these simple concepts. Nothing in this life is really challenging. It's all simple things. We know what to do. So there's a story about a dog. There's a kid who goes home every single day, and he's he's got this vicious dog that lives next to him. He's always hitting the gate every time the kid walks by. The kid hates dogs. He's always afraid, so he takes a long way home every day from school. He takes an extra 20 minutes to get home. And one day he's getting home from school after a whole year of taking a long way home, but he's got to pee so bad he's freaking out. And so he walks by the gate and he's like, I'm just going to go. And the dog comes running out the gate, boom, as usual, rah, 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 hits the gate. The kid just takes off running. Dog jumps over the gate and starts chasing him. And the guy's running as fast as he can, but he runs out of energy. He turns around. He says, you know what? I'm going to face my fear. I'm going to go ahead and just, he's been so scared of this dog for about 2 years now. He's like, I'm going to kill this dog. I'm going for it. This dog's mine. I'm done. Come on. Give me what you got. Dog runs up to him and stops right in front of him, starts wagging his tail. He looks down at the dog, and the dog smiles at him, and he realizes the dog doesn't have any teeth. And that's the thing. A lot of times we get so nervous and so afraid of things in life. And in many cases, we're making this stuff up. The dogs never even have any teeth. There's nothing to be afraid of. And so we give up because we have imposter syndrome. We give up because we think that we're not good enough. We think that, why does nobody want to join my class right now? Is it me? Is it my program? Is it something I did? Right? Like, am I really cut out for this? Well, the answer is yes. We overthink. Overthinking. We're saying, well, you know what? Let me overcomplicate it. If I use this platform, I do this thing, I get this hook, I get this thing, this affiliate, this XYZ, this all blah, 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 blah. And we put all this stuff into it. And then the reality of it is we don't need any of these things. We just need something that's valuable, and we just need a way to deliver it in the simplest way possible. In fact, the simpler, the better for so many things in life. A lot of times people don't even start because they have fear of failure. What happens if? Well, the guarantee is simple. If you don't start, you already failed. That's a fact. And then obviously the most important one, and this is the one that bothers most people, is laziness. Truthfully, we have the answers. ChatGPT is open on my computer 24/7. I have it on my phone. I can get any answer to any problem. I can get an opinion. I can get a fact. I can get a full speech written. I can get my entire homework assignment for advanced course to get to the rank of math sergeant done. I can get anything I need done on ChatGPT like that, right? But the problem is we're lazy, and no one wants to know that truth. They don't want to eat that truth. The answers are there. You're broke. ChatGPT will build you a 6-figure business to go clean trash cans, and all you got to do is wake up tomorrow and go knock door to door and ask people to clean their trash cans with your broom and your bottle of Fabuloso that you got down there. Your first 3 sales, go buy some new supplies. Your first 100 sales, go buy yourself a new truck. And just like that, you can go ahead and put yourself in a position to have a 6-figure business cleaning trash cans in every neighborhood in South Florida. But you don't do it because you're lazy, because you're pride, because you're ego, because of whatever. But we know what to do. These are why we give up, though. And so we go back to our initial concept, which is this gap of where we are and where we want to be, who we are right now and where we want to end up. And we look at this gap and we ask ourselves, well, how do we get there? This is an interesting chart here. See, this is what I call the chart of desire. The chart of desire goes from 0 to 100. And if I asked you, Alex, right now, how bad you want to accomplish whatever dream you had in your mind, you would probably tell me what? 100. You'd say, right? Am I right, Alex?
100%.
100%, right? You say, I want to get there. 100%. Like, I'm ready in. I'm all in. I'm going for it. I'm sacrificing. I'm here, baby. Let's go. Like, you're all about it. And most people would agree with you. Whatever their dream is, their thing, they'd agree with you because they're doing this. The funny thing is, everybody wants to win until they realize what it costs to win, right? And then all of a sudden they realize that there's a lot of loss and sacrifice, that you don't have any time, that at 9 o'clock at night on the East Coast, I'm sitting here with my wife is downstairs bringing me tea, and I'm here not just tonight, I'm here every night, taking calls, building classes, teaching students, taking sales calls. Every night I'm here, making content. Every night I'm right here in this fighting hole doing this every single night. You lose friends because I don't have time to hang out with friends. I lose friends because when I have a buddy who hits me up and he says, hey, Max, I want to talk about the past. Hey, Max, let's talk about yesterday. Hey, Max, remember that time when we were 15? No, bro, I don't remember, man. Talk to me about the future, bro. I want to talk about the way we can change the world. I want to talk about impacting people. I want to talk about money, bro. I want to talk about taking care of our families. Talk about the vacation we're going to take, the places we're going to go, the things we're going to see. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about politics right now. What's happening in our world? I don't want to talk about drinking a handle of Jack Daniels and playing freaking terrible metal music in the garage, bro. I don't want to talk about that, dude. You lose friends, right? And you make enemies because they're people who see you on the rise. And they want to bring you down. Go to my Instagram account. Look at my content. Look at my comment sections on half of my posts. All you're going to see is half the people there saying, great job, and half the people saying, you're trash. Why would you post this? Why would you say that? You're a bad friend. You're a bad Marine. You're not even a real Marine. You never had a combat deployment. You're not even a real Marine. Who are you? X, Y, and Z. Blah, 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 blah. That's what you see. And people can't handle the critics. They can't handle it. They think they can handle it until you have 300 or 400 comments on a TikTok video telling you that you're a terrible friend because of something you believe. All because they actually missed the point of the message. And then you think about how good it feels to be at zero. To say, hey, I'm not even going to worry about my dreams. And to be content in saying that you give it up on the dreams. Because there's so many people like that. I just want to be happy, man. That's what they say. I just want to be happy, man. I don't need none of that stuff. I don't need that. I just want to be happy, man. And then they'll realize that happiness comes through achievement. And all they're going to do for the rest of their life is worry about how they're going to pay their bills. All they're going to do for the rest of their life is worry about how they're going to feel fulfilled. All they're going to do for the rest of their life is figure out how they're going to pay for their kids' first car, how they're going to pay for their kids' softball game. That's all they're going to do. And they're going to look at it and say, well, I got time to relax. I can have fun. Fun really is just going out and spending $100 at the bar or the casino. Right? Video games, sleeping in comfort. They got no fear. They're not afraid of anything. You know why? Because they're not building anything. They're not feeding their family with their business. You know what they're doing? They're going to work and they're building boxes like a good boy. And I use building boxes as just like an example of a regular, job. That when you're just a tiny cog in somebody's dream and you're building boxes for somebody else's life. That's what you're doing. You're building boxes and you got them and they look all great and fancy and nice and neat. And someone's going to say, good job, buddy. You did so good. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Here goes $250 for the week. Here goes $200 for the day. Good job, boy. Come back tomorrow and stand here and build boxes. And if you're late, you're fired. And if I need you to stay longer, you will stay longer or you're fired. Take longer than 15 minutes in your bathroom break, you're fired. Oh, and there's 365 days in a year. You only get 7 of them off a year. Choose wisely, boy. But you don't have to be afraid. Because somebody builds it for you. They build the system for you. It's safe, it's comfortable. It's like a dog in a cage. I got a dog downstairs. She uses the bathroom on the floor all the time, man. She's always pissing and shit on the floor. I can't lie to you, man. I put my hands on this dog. And, it came a point where I would train her. I open the cage up, let her come out. She didn't want to come out. She'd been beat. She don't know why. She can't figure it out. So she stays in the cage. She don't realize what to do next. So she just stays in the box. And a lot of people are like that. They just stay in the box. They get beat. They don't know how they got beat. They don't know why they got beat. They just got beat. And they stay in a cage. And then they die in that cage. They're worse than the dog because the dog is a dog. The dog doesn't have real free will. It just acts on instinct. Humans have free will. Humans make decisions. Humans have power. And so for a human to choose captivity of the mind and to stay in a cage is one of the greatest abominations in the world. But they still do it. 8.3 billion people on Earth. 7,500,000,000 people choose that path. And they'll judge you for it. They'll judge you for calling them out on it because the majority of them are like that. It's a mob mentality of mediocrity. We want to talk about epidemics. Mediocrity is the greatest epidemic that has ever faced the planet. It is greater than Ebola. It is greater than COVID. It is greater than smallpox. It is greater than any other disease that has ever come to this planet. Mediocrity is the killer of dreams. It is the killer of people. It is the smasher of souls. It is the ripper of potential in life. But people don't see it. It just is. And so I created this acronym for people like you and me, which is work. Just put in the work. Starts with a warrior mindset. See, people think you need to have this warrior mindset when you're in combat. I've never been in combat, but I've been combating life my whole. Look, I was combating life when I was getting beat as a kid. I was combating life when both my parents were crackheads. I was combating life when they would abandon me and I had to figure out how to eat, or take 2 buses and a child to get to school, or shit and piss in a bucket and throw it out the window, or go homeless, or lose all my toys every single 3 months because we would get evicted. Bow, bow, bow. I have no home to sleep in, no place to go. I was combating life right there. I had a warrior mindset, didn't even know it. And I need a warrior mindset now when I'm building programs in schools and nobody wants it. Nobody comes to the door. I need a warrior mindset. I need a warrior mindset when I go through a divorce. I need a warrior mindset when I go through 2 divorces. I need a warrior mindset when I only get to see my son for once every 2 months because he lives in another country. I need a warrior mindset to get through that stuff. So do you, because you got your own trials and tribulations. The O stands for overcome every obstacle. You stand at a wall, you got a choice. You can either turn around, you can go around it, or you can go over it. Turning around, you give up on it. Going around it, you don't learn from it. Going over it is the only place that's rewarding. It's overcoming that obstacle. Now, by making a decision to either go behind, go around it, or go over it, hats off to you, because most people, they don't make any decision. They just stand there at the wall and look at it. So to make any decisions better than no decision. But our job here to truly succeed in this world is to overcome the obstacle and say, I did that. I won. We represent with honor. We carry ourselves professionally. You don't need to be wearing a uniform to represent yourself with honor, to be a man or woman of character, to mean what you say, to be where you're going to be when you say you're going to be there, to do what you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, to be somebody worth being, to be an example for your son or your daughter, to be an example for your colleagues and coworkers, to be the light in your church, to be the light in your friend group, to be the one that doesn't pick up the drug, the one that doesn't pick up the drink, the one that doesn't quit on themselves, the one that does the hard work, that picks up the broom, is not too big to do the small things. That's what it means to represent with honor. And then we keep pushing forward, because life is a series of challenges. It's just always going to be a challenge. It's never going to be easy from now to the day that we die. So the question is, are you ready to put in the work?